Joining us now is Peter Wertheim, the co-chief executive of the Executive Council of Australian Jewellery. Peter, thanks for being here with us. Your co-CEO told my colleague Dana Bash this morning that this shooting targeting Jewish people is, in his words, the logical conclusion to what's been simmering in the country for the last several years. Help people understand that. Give us some context.
Well, we've been warning about the escalation of rhetoric, violent rhetoric, and discrimination and vilification of the Jewish community for the last 2 years, and even before that, there were signs of things developing. And we warned also that if this was not addressed properly, not only by government but by the whole of society, that it would lead ultimately to violence. We've been saying that Australia is a beautiful, peaceful country, but there are some people who wish to import the hatreds and the violence of overseas conflicts into our land, and that if this is not addressed vigorously and robustly across the board, that not only will the hatreds be introduced, but ultimately the violence. And yesterday, sadly, was the proof of that. We are calling on not only the government, but the whole of society to have a good, long look at itself. I mean, this did not occur in a vacuum. It occurred in a social climate of almost weekly street protests featuring violent, hateful rhetoric that was only barely concealed as political rhetoric. It was sometimes even openly anti-Jewish rhetoric. It comes off the back of the encampments at universities, cancellation of Jewish people in the arts and culture sector, a sewer of hatred on social media that's been left unchecked. And this is ultimately the logical conclusion, as my colleague said, of all of those developments.
The Prime Minister there in Australia said in the hours following the shooting that we will do whatever it takes to stamp out anti-Semitism. What, in your opinion, must be done, can be done?
Well, I'll tell you what I told the Prime Minister when he called me last night to express his condolences. I mean, we appreciate the words that he spoke publicly yesterday, even though we would have liked to have seen something as resolute all the way through. Look, what we need is bold action by the government along the lines of the action plan that was put to the government by the ECAJ and then further developed and refined and ultimately put in the form of, in a quite different form, with additional features by the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism. I mean, there have been a number of plans that have been put forward, but the official one by the Special Envoy was put to the government 5 months ago, and we are still awaiting a comprehensive response. And so I urge the Prime Minister to make that a priority, among the other things that we spoke about. And but as I said, it is not just the task of government. I mean, this is a test for liberal democratic societies. One of the strongest and most cohesive of them is Australia. And if this sort of thing can happen in a country like Australia, then liberal democratic values are under threat everywhere else, including the United States. We've seen similar events there and in other countries. I'm not singling any particular country out, but it is a threat not only to the Jewish community, it is a threat to our way of life. And unless it is addressed in those terms and clearly understood in those terms, things are only going to get worse. And the freedoms and the democracy and the rule of law that we enjoy and the peaceful and prosperous life that we've become used to are going to be things of the past.
All right, Peter Wertheim, thank you for your time this afternoon where you are, tonight where we are. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
thanks for having me on.